Hey, what's up, everybody? The market is pumping today. You can see everything doing some pretty interesting stuff. 5%, 10%. XRP is up 10%, almost 11%. And yeah, we have definitely a green day. And what's today? It's Thursday. And so, yeah, this is awesome. Let's go. So, we talked about what? We talked about, let's go to XRP. But before I go to XRP, everybody's so hyped up, because we're pumping. But if you look at Monero, it's down 7%. So this might be a good buying opportunity, not financial advice. But if you look at Monero, I was just looking at it. Look at that beautiful cup and handle. You have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. Went sideways. You're creating a massive base. You broke out of this base. 1 2 1 2, right? 1 2, revving up the engine, revving. And what did we just do? We did a three-way pullback, three-way pullback, three-wave pullback, right? Pump, 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 pump. So what do you think comes next? Well, we could go a little bit lower, but ultimately I think this thing's gonna do something insane. So I think I might buy a little bit of Monero. Actually, I already did. Actually, maybe I'll buy some more. We'll see. But when we zoom in on Monero, you could see what it did. Look at the three-wave shape. Nobody's talking about Monero right now. Nobody's looking at it. Everybody's looking at the green candles. Well, green candles are great, but not for buying, right? So I'm not buying anything today. I did all my buying already. So, but yeah, Monero looking pretty good. So let me look at it one more time. And I just wanted to point out, we could come down here and back test, which we're kind of close. It could go a little bit further. This could be like 1 2 1 2 3 4, and then get that final low, get that bullish divergence, get that 5 waves up, get that 3-way pullback, build that bit of a base, and then start your ascent in the retrace. And that is where like Chainlink is. That's where a lot of like AVAX, Theta, that's where a lot of coins are right now, is right here. So if we look, for example, I could just pick any coin. This one right here, you could see it's not quite up there, right? But you could see it's starting to make its way kind of back up to here. But a better example would be not Theta, but let's see, ADA, and XRP, right? So what did XRP do? It pumped just like Monero, 3-wave pullback. So it's as if Monero is right here. That's why I looked at it first. So, and again, probably nobody's looking at it, nobody's talking about it, but because it kind of flies under the radar. Nobody even, that's why I'm kind of making this video. It's like, hey, this could be interesting. But the last time we were talking about this, we were expecting the price to come back. Yeah, point A, point B, we were expecting it to come back to point C. Right? We were expecting it to get a what? A retrace. Because we had, check it out, we had a 5-wave move, 1 2 3 4 5, right? And then we had 3 down, we had 3 up, and then we had 3 back down. So we had a WXY. And basically said, yeah, well, it could be a little bit further down, or we could start retracing, but because we didn't know if this was going to be 1 2 3 or 1 2 3 4 5. So I went with 1 2 3, and we had a little bit of a pump, and you can see that was definitely a pump. And then we had a little 3-way pullback. We flagged out, and then what did we do? revving up, revving up, revving up. Boom, break. Right? From this this trend line here. Where's it at? So this trend line right there. See a little shoulder, little head there and a shoulder popped out of there like nothing. Came right to here. So the goal is to get to here. And so this is probably going to chug a little bit. We'll see how it starts to flag or if it's going to continue to pump. Yeah, Thursdays, I told you, Thursdays are pumpy. So, not all the time though, right? Not all the time, but consistently we've been seeing that. So we could get a little flag in here before keep continuing to go up. We'll see. We got to look at the small time frames. So it looks about finished. You could see we're getting a little divergence in there. Let's see. Getting a little bit of divergence, but don't let that 5 minute fool you. It could be just getting started too. So meaning it could be a flat, right, where you kind of pull back, you correct, you pull back, you correct, and then you eventually come down and it makes this flat pattern and then you go up. So maybe something like that on the smaller time frames. We'll see what happens. So yeah, I mean, we were flagging out and we broke out, we back tested the flag, and now we're chilling up here, right? Point A, point B, point C, just like we were talking about. So now here's the big question. Is this going to be a breakout? You know, over time, not today, like over time, right? Sometime in the month of August. Or is this going to be a retrace, a three-wave retrace? So we have, you could say 3, 3, 3, so ABC, right? You could say W, 3 up. You could say X, and then you can say 3 back down, there's your Y, and then go up. So is it going to be the bullish way or the longer consolidation way? Because we already have a 3-wave move. We broke out of it. The question is it going to be more complex? Is it going to morph into something bigger? That's the big question, right? And to me, I think, you know, the way it looks, because the other issue with the way it looks is that it could be 5. This could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, right? And then we do something like this. B, there's a 3-way B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C, and then go up. Right? And that could mean, you know, coming back down and back testing this level at 240, 250, 260 or so before going up. So all the shenanigans, all of it gets decided in the retrace levels. Or it could also be a flat too. We could pump up here and it's like, okay, we're going because we broke above all the fib levels, but then it comes back. But usually when it does break the top, it's usually a regular flat or a running flat. So the worst case, we would come back down to here and it'd be a flat like that. But those could be a little bit challenging because, you know, this does look very impulsive. So we'll see how, there's no rush. We don't have to know right now. We don't have, like, is it going to do it now or no? You just, most people aren't tracking it though. But yeah, this thing isn't stopping. It's going. It's still pumping here. Still pumping. We'll see if this divergence gets taken out. You could see it's starting to round. So if we could break above that, that'll be good. It could be a flat here. Boom, boom, boom. That could be your flat right there. Impulse, running flat, and then we're going to continue to pump it. So it's definitely on a tear. It's definitely, at least on the small time frames. But what's the problem? What's the problem? The problem is we have a three-wave move. What's the other problem? The other problem is we're in the retrace levels. So the risk is a lot higher. That's what that means. So why is it higher? Because it could be an ABC before you go up. Or we could break out now. So that's the big question, right? And based off what it looks like, to me, if I had to, I would say we break out. I don't think this is going to get more I think we're ready. I think the reason why is because I like the shape. I like how long that took relative to how long that took. It's in the same degree. It's in the same world. It's on the same page, right? So, because if it went like this and this, then it would be so much bigger than this. And sometimes that does happen, though. But what could give us an edge on that? Well, looking at other charts, right? Because for all we know, we don't even know if this is a flat, right? Because the expectation is we have an impulse, we have a three-way pullback, and we should pump and be done. Or if it wants to be an SOB, it could do this: 3 down, 3 up, and then 3 back down. And we're only 2/3 of the way done. We still have 1/3 of the way to go. And this will be a big giant base with multiple months, basically almost a year, if you really want to get down to it. Yeah, that would be a year because we started it in November. So that would be a 12-month base on top of a 7.5-year base. Think about that for just a second. The bigger the base, the higher in space. Right? And you can see how large this thing is. So this right here could be 1 year long on top of a 7.5, 8-year long base. Just like how this was your base and this was your flag right here. There's your flag right there. Right? So it's incredibly compelling, and I don't know why anyone would hold Bitcoin when you can hold this. Like, I don't see it. Even if I was a diehard Bitcoin maxi, it doesn't change the chart. Like, the chart says dump Bitcoin, buy XRP as fast as you possibly can. Right? Now, that's not financial advice, but there will be, and they say, well, we don't like XRP. Well, but you like Bitcoin, right? Yeah, we love Bitcoin. Okay, well, then that's how you get more Bitcoin. What do you mean? Well, you hold XRP, right? You take your Bitcoin, you trade it for XRP. Once XRP breaks out, and we don't even have to look at this chart. We could look at the XRP versus Bitcoin chart, and that tells you all day long. I mean, look at this thing, right? You got a double. Look at this. Bottom, double bottom, right? You have a massive accumulation. Look at this resistance line you're at right here. This is a long time. This is a 5-year resistance line right here. This is a 5-year base. Look at those rallies. What do you think's going to happen? This is a pressure cooker, right? This is also Wyckoff accumulation. And we're at that final stage before blast off. This thing's going up here. So you can make so much Bitcoin by doing this. And so, yeah. Another one we got to watch out for is Ethereum, because this is the guy. Once this guy wakes up, then it basically says, because he's like the leader of the altcoin pack, right? He's the pack leader for the altcoins, in a sense, right? You got XRP coming up real fast though, so. But Ethereum is totally, the leader. So we can see where it is. And where is it? It's about ready to do something interesting. Now, once we break this line here, right? What's going to happen? You're going to be at new all-time highs basically pretty soon. And what is that going to do? That's going to fuel what? The other alts, because if Ethereum can do it, and it's the king head honcho altcoin, then my golly, we can all do it, right? Is that how it goes? I mean, it's gonna give a lot of confidence to the market, because why would XYZ coin, any meme coin or any coin really pump if Ethereum can't pump? If Ethereum is the #2 crypto in the world, meaning it is the #1 crypto altcoin in the world, whether I like it or not, and I don't like it. I don't like it. But that's the reality, right? And if it, being in its status, cannot break out of this range, that it's a beautiful range. You got 3 waves down, you got 3 waves up, you got 3 waves back down. It is a perfect 3-wave move, perfect base. Hit the bottom, hit the top, hit the bottom, hit the top, hit the bottom. We're ready to go. We're ready to go. So once that happens, it's going to accelerate into the other altcoins, in my opinion. So, but don't let it fool you. I mean, we came up quite a bit. You know, this thing could still, you know, for example, pop a little bit, but it can then flag out for a little while. It could take a little while. It could take, you know, just what I had drawn there. Let's put a line up. So I'll just put that. There we go. That's December. And if we flag out, I don't think we'll flag out till then, but maybe October, November is possible. Simply because we're at a very strong resistance level, right? Resistance, boom, boom, boom. There's a lot of hits here. And we're coming from a mile away. We're coming from way down here. So we expended all of our energy. Now we haven't even made it there. We're about to hit it. We haven't even touched it yet, guys. So I think we have to touch it. And then once we do, we could probably start either flagging out, or we can break out a little bit, then start flagging out. Because you have to catch your breath so that you can bust out of there like there's no tomorrow. So it'll be very interesting, kind of like what we did over here, in a way, where if this is your trend line, resistance, resistance, you can see this is where Ethereum is right now. And you can see what happened here. We flagged out a little bit. So if we could take that and put that right there, that's kind of what I think is going to play. Now, we could just simply bust out and go. And hey, you know, it's crypto. It could easily happen. And we could just get an engulfing candle, then just keep pumping. You know, it could happen very fast. So there's also that. But from a risk perspective, I would expect it to flag out based where my money would be, right? So it's kind of hard to buy it when it's at resistance, rather than when you get a 3-way pullback, right? And we did get a good buy, right here on this flat. Boom, boom, boom. That was a perfect flat right there. It was very complicated. You could see how choppy it was. But because I thought the flat was over here. Pumped, broke the top, came back down, and then I saw it doing this, got out, still made a profit, dropped, waited, came up a little bit, got back in, saw the flat, right? Because you need to see it drop to see the shape. Once you see it, then you go. So, and then what did we do? We did another flat. Look at this. Boom, boom, boom. And now we're starting to pump. So we're going to hit this line. 4K. I mean, that's where we're going. So I'm curious to see if, well, is that going to be 5? Yeah, something like that. Okay, yeah, now I see it. So you're going to start to get the divergence in here, and it'll probably start to round out, and then you get the fall, and then you start to go up, something like that. That could be a reality, something to that effect if we start seeing that divergence play. But if we have a sharp move, boom, three wave, boom, right, and we start to see this kind of behavior, then it's going to be a lot more violent, which I love it. I love crypto violence, and I think you do too. Just as long as it's going the right way, right? So, speaking of the right way, XRP versus Bitcoin has one of the most interesting. Look at that. Look how interesting that looks. It's just really tight and confined. It's got like, it's like a Tesla coil. It's a lot of energy, and it's like bam. It's like violent lightning strikes. It's like zzz, zzz, like it's just like violent lightning, you know. So anyway, we have, in my opinion, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's get 5. We're basically there. So that's pretty much it. Total 3 is the issue, though, because I don't like how this looks so scary. This is 3. This is 3. So this could turn into 3, and that's what I don't like. That's why it's critical that we break out now. Why is it critical? Because look where we're at. This is the most important chart, though. Total 3. Look where we're at. Let me put this on. Yeah, it's good. Okay. We are literally back above the 702, so that's good. But look where we're at. We're right in the heart, the beating heart of the retrace level, which, coming off of a 3-wave move in the retrace level, that's pretty intense. So it's so hyper critical that we get the hell out of there quickly, right? We need to remain strong in here. We need to remain, this could be like 3 down, 3 up, 3 back down, whatever. We could come back down to, back down to this level, but we need to keep it moving. We need to hold this trend line without a doubt. So that's what I think is playing in here. I think it's doing something like this. I mean, it could be possible we could go up from here, but if we lose this trend line, then it's going to look like we're doing a 3-wave move, boom, 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 right, and then go up. So this is going up, this is going up, this is going up. The difference is how you get there, right? Anybody, chart guy or YouTube or whatever, anyone could say, oh yeah, it's going up. Oh yeah, it's going up. Yeah, but how is it going to go up? That's the hard part, right? It doesn't take a genius to know crypto's going up. I mean, everybody knows it's going to go up over time. But how? How and when? That's the big question, right? So that's why we really want this to be a 1-2, and we really want this to keep continuing. So otherwise, it's going to be like that. And that's okay if let's say, you know what? I would want that if my bags weren't packed. And sometimes you can say, well, my bags are never going to be packed, right? You're never going to have enough. So there's no such thing as enough, actually. Because why? Because what is the whole goal? The goal is to obtain and hodl and obtain and just accumulate. Why? Because the dollar is what? What are you're not buying crypto. People say, oh, you're buying. No, it's not buying. I'm not buying crypto. I'm converting my Federal Reserve debt note into a cryptocurrency that is on the blockchain. That is XRP, right? I'm not buying XRP. I'm converting my dollars into XRP because XRP, in my opinion, is better dollars. It's a better weighted dollar. Anyways, let's look at a few more. So Theta is having a good day. It's up 6%, and it's looking pretty good, considering what it's been through. But remember, Theta is in a different reality than XRP because they both are in different levels as far as when they went on their bull runs. Remember, XRP did not go on a bull run in 2021, while Theta did go on a bull run. So now it's XRP's turn, and now Theta has to chill out, right? But even though it's chilling out, it's still going to perform better. Well, not when XRP was 50 cents, but better in terms of if this is 3 up, 3 down, and if this is 5 up, this will be a 3-way move up. So if you have 5 waves down and you have 3 waves up, that's a 10x move right there. That's way more than XRP. But it's not going to be as exciting because Theta's trying to escape its all-time high. But it is going to be exciting because we're going to make a lot of money, right? So people, I've noticed, kind of, put Theta aside, and it's all about timing, right? So it's all about when is the right time, and I think now is the right time. I just think that it needs a little more time. Again, look at this. This is incredibly bullish. You have 5 down, you have 3 up. You have 5 down with major bullish divergence. That's an A, B, C. But it could also be a 1, 2, 3. And if it is a 3, then you should get a 4, and then you should get a 5. But I don't think that's what's happening. I think that this could also be if it didn't break the low, and some of the charts it didn't break the low, not Theta, but other assets. And I'm wondering if it's just some kind of market maker trick here. But some of the assets did not break the low, which means what? Which means they have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way move up. So if we look at it as a 5-way move up, and technically you can't because it broke the low here. Wave 2 can never go below wave 1. But if other cryptos held the wave 1, then maybe there's a mixture of truth here that this could be somewhat of a truncated impulse. So but if it is, that could be a wave 1, guys. And if that's a wave 1, what is this? This is a wave 2. And what comes next? The biggest wave of them all, a wave 3. So a wave 3 should be pretty massive. And, we're going to know if it's an A, B, C. So either way, we're going to get an A, B, C, or we're going to get a 1, 2, 3. Either way, it should go up. The difference is, if it's an ABC, it should stop at the 1-to-1. 1-to-1. Which, by the way, where is the 1-to-1? Let's check it out. Trend-based extension here. We're going to go up there, and then back down there. Oh yeah, it's going to go higher than the 1-to-1. So, yeah, the 1-to-1's not that. So I would be more looking at the 1618, around $6. Between $6 and say $9. Between $6 and $9. So basically right in here. So this is your range right in here. This is where I would be looking at that. So we could see a very fast and violent wave. And and it's very possible. Very possible. Look at this wave. Look at this wave. Look at this wave. Theta hasn't really had any of that. So it really hasn't had a real retrace either. Based off the length of how long this went down and the way this went up in 3 and this down in 3, it just seems to me that it needs to come up and hit the high because there's too much bearishness, right? Because we're living in 2 different worlds. You have some of the altcoins that are at all-time highs and doing really well, and you have Bitcoin, but then you have a lot of altcoins that are still down at their lows, their 2023, 2024 lows. So it's a different feeling, right? But it doesn't matter because why? Because the environment is very bullish, right? If you're at lows and the environment is bullish, then we just have to wait our turn, right? So I think once XRP goes into price discovery, I think that's when you're going to start to see some rotations occur and other coins get some big moves. Because what is the alternative? The alternative is this. You have 5 down, you have 3 up, and that's A. This right here is B. And now this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go down for C. And this is your impulse, and this is your 3-way pullback. But the shape doesn't look right. It looks weird. And then we would go up from there. All-time highs, right? So if we sacrificed another wave down, then we would be exchanging it for all-time highs. So that's the difference. That's the trade-off. We can go up now, but no all-time high. Or if we have another wave down, that will be a complete ABC, and then we can go to all-time highs. But how do we go to all-time highs if we're doing this route? Well, you would have to have 3 waves back down, which would take significantly longer than just coming down here and finishing it. But I'm a trader and I don't mind that, so I'd prefer to just go now so I can make money today, not tomorrow, and then I can, anyways, I can, but here's the cool part. I also like to look at this like Monero. Well, we can say total 3, or we could say Ethereum, there we go, total 3. And then we're going to go to the 5-day chart right around there. So I want you to look at this, and I want you to tell me what you see. Do you see what I see here, ladies and gentlemen? Because what I see is an impulse and a crash. Impulse, crash. I see a move up. I see a move up. I see a 3-wave pullback. I see a 3-wave pullback. And then what do I see? I see a massive explosion. And what do I see over here? Not a damn thing. Which means what? Which means it could be coming any day. It could be coming soon. It could be coming now. And what does that mean? That means you have a W pattern. Look at the W. See that? So boom, 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 boom. I mean, this could be a buy of a lifetime. So, but again, there's no guarantees that it's going to be the W model. But if XRP breaks out in new all-time highs, which I really believe, and if Bitcoin has a little bit more pumpy, then I think we can get up here. I don't know if it's going to fizzle out. It most likely will before we get to the all-time high, because that move is a big move. Just to get back there is 1,200%. So if we look at Ethereum, you can see its W model here. But if we look at the percentage, and I go up, well, there's 1,300%. And we went up a lot further. We went up 5,000%. So if we go up 5,000, and I don't like to say 5,000 because you had this COVID dump here. So I'm going to go up a little bit more. I'm going to go start from there, and then I'm going to try that again. So that's 3,000 up to 37. So we'll get an average of, we'll say 3,400%. Okay, so go back to theta, or let's stay there, and then let me go back to theta. And by the way, the daily candle just closed, I believe, 7-8 minutes ago. So there we go. There's your daily bullish engulfing candle. But if we zoom out, and we go up, what was it, 27 or no, 3,700%. And I'll start it kind of at the same area. Well, 27% is all-time high. 3,700%, $26. 3,400%, like 24. So I would say $25. If it was going to be comparable to the W model, comparable to Ethereum, which from a retrace level, that would be what? Well, would you look at that? $25 is exactly the 1618, between 20 and 25. Yeah, that's exactly right. So that's what I think. That's what I think is going to play out. Now, there's two ways it could play out. 1, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We fizzle out here. It's over. We got to wait a long ass time before it chills out and goes again. And it'll create that base. It'll create that base exactly like what Ethereum did, like right over here. You see this right here? Look at this right here. So basically that means that theta is like somewhere over here. And it still has to go all the way up and then all the way back down and then break out, right? Unless, again, if it's the W model or if it's, some kind of reaccumulation. So theta is looking just fine, I think, here. So, you have a lot of support. You have a double bottom in here. You have bullish divergence. So, and here's the last thing I'll say is you're building a Wyckoff range. You can see right there, 3 up, come back down, come back up without hitting the high, then come circle around and break out. You can also get a spring and then break out, but this looks like Wyckoff to me. So I think without a doubt, we should go back up here. And I've been saying that all throughout here. We should eventually get back up there. So it just needs some time. So then, then the question is, well, can we break that? Because if we get up there, does it turn into like an inverse head and shoulder situation? Something like that? And if that caused more time, that could be enough to then send it to the all-time high because it had a chance to rest, it had a chance to consolidate up in here versus just explode and then fizzle out. It goes up and then it relaxes for a while and then it takes off. Right? Anyways, we'll see what happens. I will catch you guys on the next. Let's look at XRP one more time and look at SHIB real quick. Same thing with SHIB. I think it's going to do the same thing. But I think SHIB has a better chance at breaking into a new all-time high because it's closer to the all-time high, and there's not really much going on with it. It's in a tighter box, so it could have more explosive power. Just by the structure of the chart. So we'll see how it plays. So Bitcoin, did we even look at Bitcoin? Does Bitcoin even matter anymore? Yes, it totally matters, but yeah, I mean, we had a 3-way pullback, we back tested here, and now we're starting to climb back up. So we want to break out. If we don't break out, we're going to have an A, B, C, then break out. If we don't break out from that, then we're going to crash and burn. So we got 2 times to try it. We have 2 attempts to try it. And so we'll see how that plays. And then lastly, XRP, daily candle close. Let's look at the daily candle. Look at that beautiful, thick green candle. Looks good. So now we wait, see what happens, and smaller time frames. Are we gonna be chilling out anytime soon? Yep, yep, there it is. So you can see remember we talked about the divergence, it's starting to round over a little bit. Let's see if it turns into a flat, where we have to come all the way down, right? Some kind of false breakdown So you could see when you pump up and then you correct, you could also have a reverse flag, and then it just goes poof, explosion. In which case you did a flat. The idea was right, but it wasn't. It was more of a running flat. It was more of a hyper running flat, really, where it just has no chance to correct. It's basically correcting in an upwards channel, ascending. So look at that, 5-minute engulfing candle. Look at that right there. $197 billion. What if someone offered you $197 billion check? It's like, I don't want a damn check. I want crypto. $170 billion crypto check. That would be crazy. Oh, look at that. We did it. We did it. We broke the high. I just wanted to pause here and watch it for a minute. Look at that. We took the high here. That's a nice candle right there. Very nice. Look at the three-wave move. If I zoom into the 15-second chart, 15-second chart, you could see, well, it doesn't look as pretty, but you could see you have a flat. A flat is just an S on its side. It's just a sideways S. So you also had one here, or here, here. Anyways, I will catch you guys on the next one. Remember, not financial advice, and yeah, I will catch you on the next one. Cheers.